I mentioned the word spiritual bypassing earlier. Let's dwell on that a little bit more. What's your understanding of the phrase?
Yeah. To put it in a simple way, it means to attempt to go around.
To use spirituality to numb yourself out or deny something?
With that common idea that we have of this purified person that I'm going to become, that's there. We imagine it as at the end of the finish line. And we're trying to avoid what we see as this messy, what appears as these feelings, as fear, existential fear, shame, whatever it may be, and we're seeing them as wrong. I see as a common pattern, and attempting to negate it, and go around it. When I feel like the only way that worked for me was through facing, feeling those feelings. You face them and see, well, I can handle this. I can feel this. Nothing says it shouldn't be this way, that I shouldn't feel this way naturally.
Did you go through a phase yourself of spiritual bypassing, and then after a while you kind of matured out of that and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, for about 5 years. And it was really funny because I would hear teachers say, they would talk about spiritual bypassing, and I was like, oh, those poor ignorant people, I would never do that, and I was doing it. Yeah. So it can be very subtle and sneaky. As conscious as I believed that I was like, when triggers would come up, I would say, there's no one here to feel that, It was like gaslighting. I was gaslighting myself and bullying myself, and trying to go around this humanness to get to this pinnacle imagined arrival.
Yeah. You should have tried the old hammer on the thumb technique. That'll break through the notion that there's no one here to feel it.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I should have. It saved me 5 years of that delusion.
Yeah.
But I was grateful. I didn't regret any of it. I felt like I had to go through it to see that that's not what I preferred. And
yeah, we all go through phases.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Robert Augustus Masters, whom I interviewed over a decade ago, who kind of specializes in the notion of spiritual bypassing and has written books about it. So if people are interested, watch that interview. We talk about it the whole time.
Nice.
So we've talked a bit about how awakening, well, firstly, the word awakening, do you consider it to be kind of a one and done deal, or do you feel like it's really, there are kind of perhaps many, many, if not endless stages of it?
Yeah, I feel like it's an endless deepening. Yeah. And I feel like, we tend to romanticize recognition and seeing through the self, and we tend to see that as like the end ultimate goal, when one of the first things that occurred to me when the seeking fell was, oh, this is the beginning, a new beginning, the beginning of an integration, and everything coming up to be seen in the light of emptiness, and beginning to recognize the utter fullness that emptiness is, that they are not two.